Aprilia Super Teen class for riders aged 12 to 18 is for riders that are new to bike racing. And this weekend, they've got a new circuit to learn too, as we visit the newly redeveloped Snetterton in Norfolk. Welcome to GP Racing Dream.
Welcome to Snetterton Circuit in Norfolk for GP Racing Dream. The Aprilia Super Teens will soon take to the track, but as we look around the skies, well, there's a bit of blue, but keep on going. There's some absolutely filthy July weather here in Norfolk, and yesterday's qualifying took place in the wet, but here we are on the grid. It's dry at the moment, Steve.
Pole position for the first Aprilia Super Teen race, then newcomer Joe Francis. He won both races in fine style yesterday, but we've got a bit of a jig up here. Louis Dawson, number 34, looking to get himself on the top three. Harry Coomber, number 61, back to his best on the front row, and young Ryan Vickers also. We've got a lot of newcomers out there, and we caught up with David Allingham and Ryan Vickers a little bit earlier on. Well, aside from speaking to the usual suspects at the front, we've grabbed a couple of newcomers here. David Allingham, over from Northern Ireland. A fantastic season that you're having. You've got yourself your first podium a few weeks ago and a second here yesterday. What did you come from to get into the Super Teens?
I raced motocross before I came here. It's a lot different, but you know, I adjusted to the bike, and I felt good the first time I got out on it. So I stayed at this, and it paid off.
You're obviously 16 years old. You're not getting any smaller. You're growing quite tall. So the Aprilia bike, how do you feel on it? Does it suit your style?
Well, the bike hasn't. You know, it's definitely not the fastest bike out. But from motocross, you can learn to brake way later than you can, and you learn to go on the power. So you just have to keep working at it. It's not easy, like trying to stay with those guys at the front. But yeah, it's not bad.
And you got a second position yesterday, your best ever result in the Aprilia Super Teens. You must be looking for that win today.
Yeah, definitely. Like in qualifying, we had so many problems. We had the worst grid. I think it was the worst we had this season. So we had to work really hard and just stick in the first corner. And yeah, I got up on the second and just try to hold those guys off. Yeah, it was good.
Well done to you, David. We'll look out for you for the remainder of the day. We're just going to move on to a slightly shorter candidate, 12 years old, Ryan Vickers. Ryan, we spoke to you at the very start of the season. You've come also from motocross.
Yeah, I have come from motocross as well.
And you've managed to get yourself 2 front row starts now. You qualified 4th at Mallory Park, and you're 4th here again at Snetterton. This is a local circuit too.
Yeah, it's a local circuit, and it's just, I don't know how I've got the front rows, and it's all. I'm starting to like all these like wet qualifyings because I'm doing really well in them.
And it's just about getting the bike off the line is the main problem so far, but you've certainly got the pace.
Yeah, it's just getting it off the line. It's quite hard.
No, I understand you've got a few people to thank as well, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm going to thank Jamie and Manda and my mum and dad and Aero Helmets.
All right, well done to you both. We'll look out for them then. David Allingham and Ryan Vickers in the Aprilia Super Teens.
Yes, we'll certainly keep an eye on those two, but also that second row. There's a lot of threats there. Ross Twyman, Brad Jones, Tom Oliver and Alistair Deas on the second row. Max Simmons, George Stanley, Ryan Longshaw, and then, of course, David Allingham on the third row. But lights go out and ready to roll. And it's a big gripful once again, Steve, of Aprilia Super Teens. Good start at the front there from Louis Dawson.
Yeah, nice to see number 34, Louis Dawson, getting into Richie's corner in first position. Tom Oliver, championship leader, heading into this round under a little bit of pressure here. He dropped 28 points on Saturday, so he'll want to try and keep that to damage limitation. One of the riders just running rather wide there as they head out of Palmer's and down towards the new section here, Agostini's, and it is Tom Oliver, championship leader, who's just got that inside line, but Harry Coomber, that is, I believe, on the outside there, Robin.
Yeah, that white crash out of Harry Coomber. You can pick that one as he runs down through Hamilton. I think this is the most difficult corner, actually, on this new section of circuit here at Snetterton, because it doesn't look as though it is. It's amazing how many people it catches out. They go down through Oggies there, and out onto Williams, and now the Bentley Straight, which used to be the Revit Straight. Of course, it's 30 metres shorter in this incarnation, but they've added 30 metres to Senna Straight, so you still get two of the longest straights in British racing here at Snet, through Brundles and Nelsons, which were the old S's, of course, and then down to the bomb hole and out onto Coram. And already up the front, well, the championship leader, Tom Oliver, making another good start, Steve.
Yeah, he's doing very well there as they make the way into Coram. A corner that has remained, and there is Tom Oliver leading from Max Simmons. Ross Twyman is in third position, number 15, and there's Harry Coomber, number 61, in fourth, just ahead of the rider with the red helmet and the purple wheels, Joe Francis, who won 2 races here. Back onto the centre straight then, first lap completed, and it's looking good for Tom Oliver so far. But is Max Simmons coming back?
Look at that, into the braking area for Richards. Max Simmons there with the old Cross of St George on the helmet. He started on the 3rd row of the grid, so this is a very impressive run. In the background there, we see the Jolly Green Giant. Always reminds me of a sort of fossilised marshal who's had his green flag nicked. But the riders now sweeping out of Palmer's down towards Agostini. Here they run behind the Tyrrell's clubhouse. I believe one day there may even be a sort of eating deck out the back there, so spectators can get a good look at the new section and have themselves some refreshments, a bit like the clubhouse at Cadwell. But round Agos they go, down into Hamilton once again. And again, Steve, despite the fact that there are a lot of corners now on the Snetterton circuit, a lot more corners than there were, very much sticking together, the Aprilia Super Teens. Normally, if there's just the long straights, you get the drafting. But all these corners aren't breaking up the action. We've got at least a dozen of them really in for the podium places right now.
Yeah, strange. Usually with circuits like this, certainly with this one, just under 3 miles short, you do expect to see riders fanning out a little bit and stretching away from the pack, but not so here. There's still one of probably 6 or 7 riders here that could win this race. We've seen it so many times before this season in the Super Teen Challenge, but at the moment, there we see a shot of race leader. That's Ross Twyman, just ahead of Tom Oliver. So Max Simmons has dropped back to 5th. So that just gives you a good example as to how close it is. One mistake, and you can drop back 2 or 3 places.
Yeah, well, it's been that way, of course, all season, wherever we've been. And look at this, Max Simmons gets such good drive out of Murray's, and he pulls up alongside Joe Francis. They run up across the start-finish line. And, of course, Steve, Murray's used to be Russell's, and we've seen at least 5 incarnations of Russell's over the year. Getting the exit right from there is so critical, because that long chase on the centre straight to the finish line is so vital, because it's uphill all the way.
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial to get on the gas as early as possible out of Murray's now. And with that section being a little bit quicker, obviously Ritchie's the first corner, very quick as well. It gives you some good exit speed coming out of Ritchie's and into Montreal Hairpin. So crucial corner, just as Williams is now onto the new Bentley Straight. But here at the front, you can see 5 or 6 riders all battling it out for the lead. There's Tom Oliver, number 20, ahead of Ross Twyman, number 15. And then Harry Coomber is in 3rd position. Joe Francis 4th, and Max Simmons in 5th.
Yes, that little group just slightly breaking away from the rest. We know that Brad Jones and Ben Luxton, 2 of our usual front runners, are in the group that's chasing hard behind, but not able to bridge the gap at the moment. Harry Coomber there, he looking really very confident this weekend, Steve.
Yes, well, he struggled the last few rounds, not really been at his best in qualifying, and has found himself on the 4th or 5th row. And of course, that really does leave you with a lot of work to do in a Aprilia Super Teen race. But the 13-year-old from Radstock in Somerset, really, when he is at the front, he's, well, we've seen him taking race wins already. He won an amazing 15-bike battle at Donington right at the start of the season. So keep your eyes on number 61. I think we'll see plenty more of him throughout the season.
That was Josh Hill, number 23, just going through on the tail of that group. Is up the front, Tom Oliver, still towing him round from Ross Twyman, and look at Joe Francis in 3rd. He's really got these guys lined up at the moment, and Joe Francis, well, he's won so far, who's had fastest lap of the race. It's being swapped between the front runners, but look at these three.
Look at them all going into this. Oh, and that's one down. Oh, they're all down.
Goodness.
All three of the leaders there. Well, the circuit did look like it was a little bit slippery. We've heard that there are maybe 1 or 2 specks of rain, but all 3 riders have gone down. That's the first crash we've seen from championship leader Tom Oliver too. Well, let's have a look here.
Yeah, it's certainly Ross that goes down first. Whether or not the others, I think they were probably unsettled simply by the fact that he went down right across the circuit. And, well, we've not had that at all this year, Steve, to lose the 3 front runners. Well, now we've got to look back, gather ourselves and see who's left. Well, there's Harry Coomber.
Well, look at that, is next to him, David Allingham has managed to find his way up into the top 3 now. The circuit, parts of it are dry, part of it's slippery, so you can't really afford to trail your brakes into corners because you will just do what we've just seen the top 3 do. You will lose the front end, so it's now Harry Coomber, number 61, that leads from David Allingham, who we just spoke to. Oh, and David Allingham fancied to look up the inside into Murray's there, but thought better of it.
Goodness me, and Harry Coomber also running up over the curbs on the outside of Murray's, and really, curbs and white lines you really do want to steer clear of if it's damp, but the checker flag's out. Oh, it's going to be a tight one, but it will be Harry Coomber that takes the win, yes. David Allingham, well, he wanted a win, but it's another excellent second place for David, Steve. There we are, Harry and David, first and second. Max Simmons a good third, Brad Jones is fourth, Ben Luxton fifth, Aaron Cooten sixth, Clinton Carver was 7th, George Stanley 8th, Ryan Vickers 9th, and Josh Hill was 10th. There on the podium, Harry Coomber, David Allingham, and Max Simmons, the 1, 2, 3. Now our Nitro newcomers in the middle, David Allingham takes the win from George Stanley and Ryan Vickers.
Third place in that race, Max Simmons. Great to have you here on the podium. That was a bit of a frantic one.
Yeah, it was pretty mental. I seen Ross, Joe and Tom go down. I was just trying to keep it upright and bring it to the finish, really.
And you must have thought at one point that you might have got your eyes on a race victory.
I seen that I had a gap, but then all of a sudden they caught me up and I was trying to stay with them, but I just didn't want to risk it. I just bring it home on the podium.
It's good to see a big smile on your face. Anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, Mum and Dad. It's been quite a hard season and it's great to get on the podium again.
Well done to you, Max. We'll move on to second place, David Allingham. We spoke to you at the start of the show, and here you are again on the podium. Great result.
Yeah, once again, before the race and the warm-up, my bike had real bad problems, so I had to take out the stock bike. So, you know, I was back in 5th position. I didn't even know the front guys had come off, so once the rain started coming down, it kind of helped me. He didn't need as much speed and as power to get out of the corners, so yeah, you know, I come over the line, I come on, I just heard I was second, so I was so happy with that. I'd like to thank Jimmy, my dad, and Ian Newton for everything. They worked so hard to get that bike out there that time.
Well done to you, David, and we'll move on now to the race winner, Harry Coomber. Harry, you've had a tough few rounds, to say the least. Qualifying not been great, but you got yourself on the front row. Fantastic race win there in really horrible conditions.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, when the rain started coming down, I was just like, oh, what is going to happen here? I was waiting for the red flag, but it just didn't turn up, so it was a real good race. I had a great time, yeah.
And you must have your own personal people to thank, but also, obviously, Dunlop, they do a great job in competition, Nitro, etc.
Oh, the Dunlop did a brilliant job with the tyres, absolutely brilliant, grippy as you like. I never felt anything like it, and Nitro, great job with the helmets and the gloves and all that. It's been really good. And also I'd just like to thank Mum and Dad and Scott Finley for doing a brilliant job with the bike.
Well done.